Hello and welcome to Liquor and Lyrics, your new favourite podcast of those ones that are doing 3 Christmas episodes. 3, count them, 3. Yes, another week and another opportunity for us to take a sideways look at a popular song that has some questionable lyrics or just plain shit lyrics. I'm Nick, and joining me as always, he's a scumbag, he's a maggot, and perhaps crucially, he's taped over Taggart. Niche 90s reference there. It's Dan. Hello, Dan.
Hello. I once auditioned for a part in Taggart when I was a kid.
Why has this never come up before? Why has this never come up in like?
When I was in my actor days, I went for an audition to play the son of a crackhead. I didn't get the part. Spoiler alert. I think 3 things I auditioned for that have haunted me: part in Taggart, Harry Potter, an audition that I was so nervous for. They asked me on camera. The first thing they asked me was to say my name, and I got it wrong. And
it's surely what you want, because you're not playing yourself. Surely that's good. I'll pick you to the next place.
Daniel Potter. And then the third thing was do you remember there was an advert, and I used to see this advert all the time when I was a kid, and it plagued me that I auditioned for, where it was like a Warburton's advert, and the kid would like run into the garden, and I can't remember the details of it now, but it was like this famous Warburton's advert, and I auditioned for that as well. I remember distinctly auditioning for that and thinking I was close to getting it. This little shit got it. Which isn't very, get off Taggart, because Taggart's not Christmassy, is it? Probably there was never a Taggart Christmas special, is there? That wouldn't be cheery, would it? Much like tonight's song wouldn't be very cheery as a Christmas song. Like in sound, cheery, in the lyrics, no, but more on that in a bit. But Stop the Cavalry, a inadvertent Christmas song, although I have things to say about that later on. But an apparent inadvertent Christmas song, an anti-war song. So this is our first anti-war song.
Before we crack on, how do you feel about war, Dan?
I'm not a fan of war. I don't think it's very good, actually. I'm quite a bit anti-war. No. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I'm not pro-war. I don't think. But I don't want to sound naive. That I don't know. I definitely wouldn't go to war if they tried to make me. I would definitely either be a deserter and go to prison. If someone was like, you can either go to prison or you can go to war, I'd go prison, please. I'm less likely to die there. Might have some other shit happen, but I can live with that.
I'd be there shell.
Conscientious objector, definitely. I'll be all over that. Can you just say that? I've always wondered what the rules are with that. Can you just say I'm a conscientious objector? You don't have to go, because why doesn't everyone say that?
If they come round and say like looking dead hard, and they're like, right, you're going to war, you're like, actually, I think you're fine. I'm a conscientious objector. I think you'd get battered at the very least, and then.
Would it be like when you try and outsmart the idiot bully at school, but you just get your head kicked in anyway? You know what it'd be like?
Like I did. When I used to get called Four Eyes, and then I went home crying about it, and my dad's like, well, next time they say that, just say, well, I can see better than you, because I've got 4 eyes, and you've only got 2. Didn't work.
Get your head flushed down the toilet instead.
Yeah. And I lost my glasses, so I was back to 2 eyes.
But then I think you can just say it, and the reason why everybody doesn't is because people have more like sort of, pride for the country, go to war and all that, so they wouldn't say that, whereas scoundrels like me and you don't care about anything would absolutely not go. I'd have no, like, I wouldn't be feeling guilty about saying I'm a conscientious objector and not going. No way. I'd probably break my own leg to not go to war, Nick.
I'd break anything. Anything that's breakable.
You could break each other's legs and they couldn't make us go. Yeah, and just hope that in 6 months the war's over. Actually, we're too old to be taken to war now, aren't we? So we're all right. We're out of that danger zone of
as it goes on,
16 to
20. You've seen
that desperate for us. Then again, go to war, watch the Mrs. Brown's Boys special. It's a serious consideration, isn't it?
But imagine do both, because they show BBC.
Both.
They have BBC
torture
over in war zones. Like they have access to BBC. They have like Special Forces TV with BBC stuff on it. So imagine you're there.
Haven't they suffered enough?
Yeah, imagine Christmas. I just go over the top with a white flag, me. So, nah.
Jesus, yeah, fucking hell. That you're really asking for a sort of Full Metal Jacket situation there. If you're going to start playing Mrs. Brown's Boys in the barracks, what made him flip? We accidentally played Mrs. Brown's Boys Christmas special. Did you not learn from last year? 10 dead.
Don't show that to people who've got guns.
What happened with it? Because the next war will just be like nuclear bomb will all be dead, so we don't have to worry about it really, do we? There's not going to be another world war in the trenches, is there?
We could both use computers. So if the next war is
we could just operate a drone from home, like I work from home now. Just say, I'll go to war, but I'll work from home. Just operate a drone and go, boom, those children are dead.
You in your pajamas.
Just pretend it's a video game, Dan. Boom. It's not real. Is that a primary school? Don't care. I'll be happy with that. But yeah, no war. But before we get on to 2 war, we've got a lot to talk about. Shall we talk about the drinks that we brought to this? Have we brought Christmas drinks? Have we brought war drinks? This is the question. Have we combined the two? War, Christmas, the Christmas war, the great war of Christmas.
I think I've gone a bit war, but with a Christmassy twist. It's like the Christmas.
So have I. I think I'm just picturing now like Father Christmas like battling with like a big machine gun and a load of elves behind him going.
Who would he be fighting in the war?
The Americans, because the Americans would figure out Father Christmas was real and try and turn it into some sort of commodity. Or they'd find oil in the North Pole and come after them.
Christmas is ruined. It's a good job we've got a nice, jaunty, cheerful song to talk about, isn't it? But first, yes, let's get on to the alcohol.
Alcohol. Alcohol.
I thought, am I going to go Christmassy or am I going to go war? And I went with a drink called, quite simply, the Cavalry cocktail. Nick, which is the Household Cavalry is what it's called, made famous by the Dorchester Hotel. It's Christmas, isn't it? Treat myself. So it's got, I put vodka. You sit
in a Dorchester like a mad spinster drinking your cocktail.
Vodka, strawberry. I could put a little bit of strawberry flavour in there. I've put in it, they said you can use ginger beer, but if you don't like ginger beer, you can go for the alternative, which is what I went for, which was sparkling lemon and lime with cola, and then some of my favourites. So because of the Hot Cavalry, but then the strawberries made it red, so that's a bit Christmassy in it. And then the final ingredient, a bit worry, and the final, yeah, a bit worry. Fucking hell. The final ingredient is my favourite, blue carousel, which is what drew me to it in the first place. So in a way, it's got red and blue in it, which is blue is icy, Christmas. Red is carousel / battley. It's called the Cavalry. It's a Christmas, much like this song, it's a war-themed cocktail that's also got a twist of Christmas to it.
More can you ask for?
And it's ended up tasting like, now I put
holidays.
No, it doesn't actually. It tastes like a black sambuca. Actually, that's the way it's ended up. It's ended up a bit sort of licoricey. But I put in 3 double shots of vodka. So it's got 150 ml of vodka in it. We drank half and the sort of setting up for the podcast, and I'm already quite drunk. So let's see how things go. Christmas. It's Christmas, November 14th.
It wouldn't be Christmas if someone didn't fall asleep halfway through, would it? Let's be honest. But I went down I took a trip, mate. I went down the middle aisle of Aldi. I found this. I mean, it had Christmas stuff above it on the aisle, so I'm assuming it's a Christmas alcohol. It's gin, and it's gingerbread flavour. When did this happen? Where gingerbread became a Christmas flavour? I missed this meeting.
Do you know when it happened? Coffee shops.
Oh, them and the pumpkin.
Do you know where it started? Places like Greg's started releasing gingerbread at Christmas with little Christmas cloves on them. And then it became something that coffee shop Starbucks Costa decided to put flavouring in as a coffee drink for Christmas. And now it's just become gingerbread is Christmas. So do you want some information on this Christmassy war song?
Information, that's what I need. Some information. Where did she come from? Information, that's what I need. Some information.
Stop the Cavalry is an anti-war song written and performed by English musician Jona Lewie. The song peaked at number 3 on the UK singles chart in December 1980, at one point being kept from number 1 by 2 reissued songs by John Lennon, who had been murdered on the 8th of December that year. That's bad luck, innit, eh? Bad timing, that.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
For Jona Lewie and John Lennon, that's bad luck. Initially, not the John Lennon estate, though. Initially a standalone single, the song was included on Lewie's album Heart Skips Beat, awful title, which was released nearly 2 years later. Lewis wrote the song while living at home with his parents. So for anybody that's, great things can happen. In an interview for Channel 4's 100 Greatest Christmas Moments, Lewie said that the song was never intended as a Christmas hit and that it was a protest song. Indeed, some overseas releases, for example in South Africa and New Zealand, were in the spring rather than at Christmas. So he didn't release them at Christmas. The line, Wish I Was at Home for Christmas, as well as the brass band arrangements, made it an appropriately styled song. This is what I'll be raising later to play around Christmas time. Lewie had said that royalties received from the song account for 50% of his income stream. Wow. You believe
I
that?
wonder what the 50% is.
Yeah. That other five has got a... According to a 2017 poll conducted by the Irish Times, Stop the Cavalry is the fourth most popular Christmas song in Ireland. And that's there. Even they're not putting the anti-war Christmas song to number one. In 2022, it was reported that the song was listed as the seventh highest royalty earning Christmas song. Went to number one in Austria, the anti-war song in the 80s. Sick of war, weren't they? That lot? Yeah. Sick of it. Already caused 2. 5 in Belgium. Number 1 in France. Number 2 in Germany. So again, fans. And then, number 9 in the Netherlands. And so we have the first lyric. Hey, Mr. Churchill comes over here to say we're doing splendidly. Surprised that Churchill could speak coherently with all the cocaine coursing through his veins during this.
Off his tits.
Oh no, but this was before, wasn't it? This isn't World War II. Apparently, this is about the Crimean War in 1856. I don't know what he was banging on about that for in 1980. and and it was about World War One as well. Apparently, he touched on as well because the video was in the trenches and stuff. So there's a lot about the song that isn't Christmassy, but there's a lot of things that do make it Christmassy. And I well, as I say, we'll get to that. But yeah, Churchill there coming over. Have you ever been told you're doing something splendidly? It's a nice word, isn't it? Splendidly.
Once by a woman.
Why did she say it? Was she 85? In a war, though, is splendidly a war? Because what did he come out? He said, lads, well done, you're doing splendidly. At what? Killing people? Being alive still? Yeah. What are you doing splendidly at?
Growing those big mustaches that you only see during old wars.
Splendidly is like the person that plays the horn before they go into battle, like, you go, well, you did that splendidly. But then if I go and just stab someone in the throat with a bayonet, the search will come over and go, you did a splendid job there. Thank you, sir. Splendid old boy.
Murdered.
Yeah. Oh, you young men are still alive. It's absolutely splendid. If any of you got a number for a coke dealer in these lands,
need a number in Crimea.
This is young Churchill in World War One, isn't it? Like in the old church before he was prime minister and all that stuff.
You can only imagine what young Churchill was like. I just imagined he was born looking like a dog.
You could write a series of novels like the Adrian Mole ones. Churchill, like Churchill, the cappuccino years in his 20s in World War One.
April 23rd, the Indians.
And then work all the way up to his coke habit. But yeah, I don't know. Splendidly seems like a strange word to use in a war setting. And probably more like, oh, lad, you're really like digging in. You're really doing well here. You know what I mean?
I suppose it dates it. It dates it, doesn't it? It tells you when it is. Yeah, he's put himself in the mind. That's exactly why he's renowned as such a great songwriter with hits such as Stop the Cavalry and the other one.
So the next one is, but it's very cold out here in the snow. So he's got his splendid, and now he's like, thanks for the splendid, Churchy, but it's a bit cold out here in the snow. Oh, but first Christmas vibe with the snow mentioned. Ooh. I'd say probably less jabbering about the snow and more killing. That'll keep you warm. Keep the energy levels up. Do you know what I mean? Like just standing around moaning.
More killy.
Yeah. You just stood more about moaning. Yeah. Ooh, it's cold in the snow, innit? Then we'll get to work then. Dig a trench. Yeah. Bloody hell. Lazy. Marching to and from the enemy. I'd have said fro there. I'm not giving notes, but I'd have said marching to and fro the enemy.
If you are, it's a bit late. It's a bit late for notes. A, in terms of the notes he's given for the Crimean War, and B, the notes you're giving on a song that was written about 40 years ago. You shouldn't be marching to the enemy though, not right to them.
Well, I assume it's because I assume in the middle there he's missed the bit where they kill the enemy, because otherwise you're just marching to them and then back from them. If you're marching to them and then just coming straight back, you're gonna get killed. They're gonna kill you. Then we'll see who's splendid.
Marching suggests they're doing it in formation. It's like there's going to be other enemies wanting to seek retribution for their fallen comrades, and you're just like, march, boys! It's like, no, fucking run.
Isn't that giving them ample time to prepare if you slowly march towards them as well? Like going like,
No wonder this war's dragging on.
It's sort of there going, someone's writing a letter to the woman back home, miss you, blah, blah, blah. Then someone runs in the tent and goes, sir, there's the British are marching towards. Yeah, Churchill. And he's like, people tell me Church was a smart tactician. Let me have a look. Gets his little old school telescope thing, handheld telescope that they had.
Someone's put ink around the eyepiece.
Yeah, he's like, surely before he puts it up, yeah, Johnson. And before they look around, oh yeah, there they are. So they're slowly marching towards us. Churchill must not have had his first line yet. If they're only slowly marching towards us, that's where the term marching powder came from. Churchill. We're getting on a march, just giving them more time to like. All right, well, if they're probably going to be, I thought when they'd run at us, we'd probably have about 5 minutes to prepare. That's why everyone ready. But now it's probably about 25 minutes before they get here. So get some extra ammo, I guess. Get some extra guns out. Let's do it. And then, well, what's the thought process from the other side? He's like, the Jack and sort. He's like, right, what we're going to do is we're going to slowly march towards them. Someone's like, don't want to tell you what your business is, Winnie, but do you not think we should maybe like go around the back, sneak up on them, take them by surprise? Don't you think that's what they'll be expecting? Like a sensible sneak attack. It'll phase them. It'll throw them. They don't know what to do. But is he saying? But what's sinister though? What he means is they march to the enemy, kill them, and then walking the other way back.
Well, surely the point of killing the enemy is to take that territory. You don't go into their territory, kill them, and then go right. We'll go back to our trenches and just wait over there for the next onslaught.
Next line. Oh, I say it's tough. I've had enough. Can you stop the cavalry? Yeah. Probably not fun, is it? Trenches and all that, I imagine.
That's the least I'd have to say about it, was to stop the cavalry. I'd go a bit more strongly worded. Like, have you fucking seen
Before
this?
I got there,
Get
really.
out there and look at it. There's mud. People are pooing themselves.
Absolute shit show. I get his sentiment here. I get it. Understand. He's had enough. He's out there in the snow. It's probably tough, isn't it, fighting all the time. Even if you're doing a splendid job, you can only do a splendid job for a period of time before you need a rest. And unfortunately, usually in a war situation, that doesn't happen. So, yep, I get it. I get it. Then he says, I have had to fight almost every night down throughout these centuries.
So now he's extending it to all the wars.
But he's saying I, so he's this character seems he's a bit exaggerated to me. He's like to them, like he's saying to them, I want to go home, and like we've got to keep on fighting, Smith. And he's like, oh, I've had to fight almost every night. And like, well, it isn't every night, is it? We had that night in the tavern, didn't we, with the wenches? And he's like, oh, I've been fighting for centuries. And he's like, oh, he's exaggerating again. You know what it reminds me of, this kind of situation? When when like a Saturday when you just got nothing to do and you just sit watching TV all day. Your back hurts a bit when you get up after it, and you're sort of a bit full from all the junk food you've eaten, and your legs a bit sore, and you're like, oh, bloody hell. Feels like I've been sat here for centuries. That's what it reminds me of. That very similar situations, I think, between the two, that and war. But yeah, I think he's getting a bit moany again for me in this. I mean, you know what you signed up for, don't you? You know what you signed up for, unless it was
sometimes it
conscription.
Didn't sign up, Dan. That's a problem. And now we've reached it.
Well, you say that, but they have the option to break their own leg, or say they're a conscientious objector, or run away and go to prison. Gay. So, if it means not going to war, Nick, I'll be gay as the day is long. The next line is, that is when I say, oh yes, yet again, can you stop the cavalry? The thing is, he's making a good point about war, anti-war, and I agree with that. But it's a fine line between making a good point and just whinging. Get on with it, mate. You're there now. Make the best out of a bad situation. It's a bit like when you get stuck at the airport in between flights. There's a bit of a delay. That's what this is exactly like. And you're kind of getting a bit like...
If I'm stuck in an airport and I've got ages to wait, I just think... It gets to a point where I think, you know what I've not had for ages? Toblerone. And that's it. That's hours of fun.
Tell you what, when I do sit at the airport for hours waiting for a delayed flight, and then I eventually do get on the flight and get home, nobody tells me I did a splendid job. So stop moaning. At least the reward's good at the end. Yeah, so Winston Churchill, renowned coke addict Winston Churchill, telling you the reward's worth the effort in this scenario for me. But he's a fine line. It's a fine line between whinging and making a good point. He's not there yet. but he's teetering on the edge for me on this. Don't want any more whinging. Here we go. Mary Bradley waits at home in the nuclear fallout zone.
What he's done there, he's moved into the 80s now. Now
Yeah,
he's
who's
saying it's
is Mary
about
Bradley
all-
that politician, that Irish? Was it? Who's Mary
See,
Bradley?
I always thought this, but I can't find any evidence of it. So I think that's just meant to be just a catch-all
Like the
name
character's
for
wife.
his lover. waiting at home. Yeah.
Mary
Probably
Bradley.
wanking off soldiers for tights if other wars or anything to.
Well.
What a pair of tights, Levis. Get your hands around this.
But so you think he's brought it to the 80s? Because I was wondering, is he referencing? He can't be referencing the First World War or the Crimean War here with nuclear fallout, unless he's way ahead of his time here in the Crimean War with the thoughts. So what does that? If you mean the 80s because of the old Cold War shit?
Yeah, the threat of the Cold War. Yeah.
Bringing it up to date. That doesn't make any sense in the context of the song, does it? Because one minute he's talking about cavalry, which invokes the Crimean War and things like that, and battles, and he does that a bit later as well. He's talking about Churchill being there, so it must be World War One. And now he's bringing nuclear fallout into it. He's just talking about war in general, but not in a good way, not in a clever way.
Do you think he started when he started writing this? He's gone right. It's going to be Crimean War and World War One at a push, and then halfway through writing it, he thought he's had this light bulb moment where he's just gone. You what? All war is bad. His producers go, what do you mean, Jona? It's like,
it wasn't just
all war. It's bad. Like,
you could argue.
In fact, the modern wars are probably even worse.
Definitely worse than when, a few hundred people would meet in a field and kill each other until there was about 5 people left. Like these world wars were definitely worse than that. Some would say World War II was pretty bad.
I mean, I don't think it's a controversial take to suggest that World War One was the war to end all wars as well.
Not for long. Not very Christmassy so far, this song, is it? That's the main issue.
There's nothing Christmassy to it whatsoever.
Apart from the snow. But he's moaning about snow. Traditionally, people like snow at Christmas. I mean, I don't, but, people do. But next line. Wish I could be dancing now in the arms of the girl I love. Wish I was at home for Christmas.
Oh, it's a Christmas song, then.
Yeah, I can see why this became a Christmas song, can't you? The use of the word Christmas. That was his mistake. If he wanted to make an anti-war song that didn't invoke Christmas, don't put the word Christmas in it. Because people are instantly going to think... How many songs can you think of that aren't Christmas songs that have the word Christmas in them? Doesn't happen, does it?
Silence speaks volumes.
That was his mistake. If you're going to make an anti-war song, don't... This is right. If you're going to make an anti-war song, don't make it fun and catchy. Because I know he's tried to make the cavalry sound of war, but he's made it quite light, which is weird because it's an anti-war song. So he's made war sound fun with the music. He's gone, I'm going to make the anti-war song, but that makes war sound. I want to like a parade. I want to dance, like wearing a grass skirt, going woo, and a rainbow t-shirt, going woo, kicking the snow about, making snow angels with a load of gays. It'll be great. But don't make it fun and catchy, and definitely don't put the word Christmas in it if you don't want it to be a Christmas song. Also, because the part of this song when it says it, it goes, wish I was at home for Christmas, and the music goes, the Christmas bells, and it goes, doon, 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 doon. Definitely don't have a little Christmassy jangly musical interlude after you say the word Christmas.
And if you wanted more evidence that this is just Christmassy from the start, the little that was originally written on a kazoo. That was written on the instrument that you get free in a Christmas cracker.
Yeah, I reckon he wrote this on Christmas. This is what happened. He wrote this on Christmas Day, 1979, and he was like, you know what? I'm so angry. It's Christmas, but there's people dying out there in the world. It's the Cold War, and I'm sick of World War One. World War Two, I'm going to skirt over, but World War One, the Crimean War. My great granddad Alfred fought in the Crimean War. He's like, I'm annoyed about it still, because to get the Christmas, to get the reminiscing and stuff. And he's like, I'm going to write an anti-war song. He had the Christmas, and then he was playing it, and then they played like what would have been out in 1979, like "Step Into Christmas" by Elton John. Would that have been out then? And they were playing like Christmas songs in the back on the TV, and he was like, the bells were ringing at the same time as he was playing, and then his dad went, "Oh, this sounds a bit like a Christmas song," and he went, "Oh," he grabbed the kazoo from the cracker, and he went playing, and that's when fucking money sign. Dollar signs popped in his head. Hang on. This is a bit Christmassy, but I've written the lyrics now. Anti-war songs don't traditionally make a lot of money for the old artist for the, not enough to keep 50% of your revenue going for the rest of your life, certainly. I might just throw the word Christmas in here, put a bit more of the jangly stuff in it. Got a Christmas hit here. I'll just, after the fact, tell people that I meant it as a war song because of the lyrics, but everyone else took it the wrong way. And then I'll retain my musical credibility after. So win-win. I look like a genuine artist. I still get 50% of the revenue from this song as my annual income for every year, 4 million a year from this song. So win-win. You're a genius. You're an absolute genius. Anyway, and don't worry, I won't just be. Would you just be a one-hit wonder for someone who wrote a war song and then didn't, and it got turned into a Christmas song inadvertently? He's like, I actually got another song. How at the kitchen, at parties I like being in the kitchen. But check this out.
It is, for want of a better word, very dopey. The refrain, isn't it? It's a very dopey refrain.
Well, the next line. Dubba dubba dum dum dubba dubba dum dum dubba dum 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 dubba dubba dum dum dubba dubba dum dum dubba dubba dum 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 dum. Self critique on the lyrics of this song, do you think? Very. It's like he just couldn't. Again, if this was an anti-war song, why have the dubba dubba dum bit in there? This is where I'm questioning his. I think he's lying about this being not a Christmas song because what who would write an anti-war song? And in the middle of it, where you've got all this jangly stuff, I want it to be a serious war song. What's the next bit? Dubba dum dum dum, dubba dum dum dum, da da dum dum dum, da da dum dum. But alas, whether he's bullshitting or not, he goes back to the anti-war sentiment here with he goes next, bang, exclamation mark. That's another bomb on another town. Not very Christmassy, is it? No. Unless he means chocolate bomb. And I'll be all over it.
Chocolate bomb on Candy Town.
Next line. While the Tsar and Jim have tea. Political statement. The old dreaded political.
I have the answer, and we're going far before the Crimean War here. During the winter of 1612 to 1613, James I of England. James I of England was asked to accept a proposition made by principal and eminent Russians that the king establish a protectorate over North Russia, and he sent an embassy to explore it. So that will be where that came from. So not only is he covering all these bases already.
This is shit. I'll tell you why this is shit.
Doctor Who, this.
Fine with the anti-war sentiment and stuff like that, even though you definitely tried to make a Christmas song, right? But you can't just there's got to be some structure to it. You can't just keep slipping in little references to who gives a shit about. I'm not being. Who gives a shit about a war in 16? And going, war's bad in 1612. I bet the war in 1612 wasn't as bad as the fucking. Just stick to the best wars. World War 1 and 2. Stick to the good wars, the ones we care about.
He's not even got onto Vietnam.
You can't go
probably because the music was better.
Well, yeah. You can't go from the Cold War to 1612. Believe me, I've tried. I don't know what that meant. Do you know what? Doesn't annoy me though about war back then. They did stop for tea, didn't they? They used to have like same with cricket. Same problem I have with cricket, like the tea breaks and shit. I know they don't actually have tea anymore, but like back then in battles, they used to stop and have little tea and scone breaks and shit. And that's not war to me. It's war.
It's war. What is it?
It's war.
Not tea and cake.
It's just ludicrous. Speaking of Christmas and things that are ludicrous, right? This reminds me of my huge issue. The first thing, I'm a big.
Oh, this is your biggest issue with World War One, is it?
This is my biggest issue in life, perhaps. Is so we obviously all heard the Over the Trenches football story, right? And then I, for years, just assumed that was bollocks because I went, "There's no way during a war." Was it World War? It was World War One, right? It wasn't. Wouldn't have happened in World War Two, would it?
No chance.
Exactly, because there's venom in that. That's why it's the best war. It's proper war. No prisoners, apart from all the prisoners, obviously. Apart from all the prisoners, famously. But the other use of the word. But the first one, and then John Lewis did the ad, and it was at the cinema, and after I was going, that really annoyed me that I hate that ad with that stupid story. And everyone was like, "No, that happened. It's true." I'm like, "No, it didn't." And then I did some research, and apparently it did happen. It winds me up that people stopped during World War One on Christmas Day, and the Germans in English had a game of football in the no man's land. I just can't believe that that's something that happened. It's so. I know people will go, "Oh, it's a really nice showing of the human spirit," but to me, it's one word: Ponzi. That's how I see it. Because
Yeah.
I can't understand. I mean, to me, if someone went, we got a telegram from the Germans. You know, we weren't having any fight today because it's Christmas Day, which is silly anyway. I don't understand. Like, let's stop for Christmas Day. Well, no, it's war. Let's just keep going until it's done. Let's not have a break for Christmas Day. Should we have Bank Holiday Monday off? Yeah, why not?
Double
And
time
then
bank holiday. What are you
go-
doing?
Telegram from the Germans here. You know, a game of footy in no man's land. I'd go. Sounds like a trap. That, to be honest, like they're like we'll put our weapons down and then we all walk out like, oh, they seem pretty genuine on this, to be honest with you. And they go, well, let me. So gets on the. Did they have a phone? Would they have a wake? I don't know. They get over. They shout over the top.
Fritz.
Oi, yeah, this telegram is it genuine. Game of footy. Yeah,
Das.
you're not gonna get us out there without our weapons, holding a football like a load of twats, and shoot us to shit, are you? And win the war? 9. Sounds like he's being genuine. Let's get the old. Did everyone bring their shin pads and the socks? Yeah, of course. Why wouldn't we not bring them to war?
Shin
Take
pad socks and a picture of the tart back home.
These are the best players got trench foot there. I don't know if we should. I just don't understand how anybody trusts the fact that they like. Here's how normal people look at it. Right? They look at it and go, the fact that two sets of human beings during a war could trust each other enough to go out and have a game of football. And I'll admit it happened, so they were right that they could do that is like showing of the human spirit. I look at it as I find it annoying and uncomfortable that both of those people that were supposed to be at war could trust each other enough to go out there and go, because I wouldn't be going. If someone said to me, Holt, you're in centre back, that wouldn't happen, right? Holt, you're a keeper. Yep, good. Yep. Keeper for what? Are we having a game in the trench here? No, Germans have called us up to no man's land. Eh? The Germans have got, it's Christmas Day, innit? They want a ceasefire. We'll go play a bit of footy and then what? Tomorrow, Boxing Day? No, Boxing Day will be full and hungover, won't we? So we'll probably just be watching Catchphrase or something. But 27th, then what happens then? Yeah, just go back to shooting the shit out of each other and trying to kill each other and win the war. Eh? Has anyone considered the possibility that they might just get out there and they might just shoot us, win the war? Nah, we checked. They said they wouldn't do it.
Oh, well,
right. Well, I tell you what, I think I'll sit this one out. I just don't understand what. But they didn't do it. So what can I say? Whenever I have the argument, people go, "Yeah, but you're wrong because they did do it." But I just don't trust people enough to understand that situation where that wouldn't happen. If that had happened in World War II, we would have gone out there and Hitler would have gone, right, bomb the shit out of them. Yeah, because he's a proper warmonger.
Yeah.
My kind of warmonger. Apart from all the Jew killing, obviously, and stuff. I don't like to go that far.
The
But
thing that gets me about the football match, so it's widely accepted that this was Christmas Day 1914. We've not heard about them doing it the other 3 years. So what happened that first year? I think some Germans
maybe things weren't serious.
Tackle. They were just like, no. Not playing you again.
Were just the actual then the motivation to win the war for the British was that we got absolutely trounced in that game and lost like 10-0, all because Holt wasn't in that.
We went playing on the new AstroTurf at the park near me one year. 1996 it was.
Sounds comparable.
Everyone had got a new football shirts, and we went playing. Robert Harrop turned up in his brand new football boots that were blades, and he sliced right up someone's shin going in for a slide tackle on the AstroTurf. So we never played again at Christmas, and I think something similar has happened then.
There's something else about this no man's land game of football. Why did they have a football handy?
Who's brought the football?
Who brought the football? Because I tell you what, if it was me and I was the commander, went, "We're doing this. We're having a either side. We're having a game of football with Germans." And he went, "Problem is, no football. We're at war. Why would we bring a football there?" And then someone went, and he went, "Yep, Johnson. I brought a ball with me. What? I brought a ball with me. Why would you bring a ball to war?" Just thought there might be a chance for a kickabout. I'd go, right, court-martialed, out. I'd go, weak. Why is he bringing a football? I'd be furious.
You borrow my boots because you didn't bring your own. Yeah, you brought a football.
Why was there a football? I just don't understand. Unless it was kind of like they left a load of fellas on the guns manned on both sides. So
We should do that now in Premier League football. I could think of at least 100 Premier League footballers I'd like to see executed live on television. Let's do that now.
Imagine how long it'd take VAR to make a decision during in the middle of two trenches. Jesus, all those dead bodies. I don't know where to put the lines. I don't know where to put the line. I'd go back in time and just watch that and just go to someone. What are you doing? We could have cleared. Tell you what, I'd go to the English. I'd go. Do you not think like ceasefire and then we could end the war today? That's another point, right? The war goes on for another 4 years. Thousands of lives are lost. Either side could have just ended it that day. Farting about playing football. 4 years worth of people. This is my 4 years worth of people died because one side couldn't have the savviness to just fucking kill the other in the first 2 months of the war. Fucking ridiculous. I'm just trying to think based off my sort of school years of being forced to play football. I wonder what I'd be worse at, war or football. Dan, jump into goal, we need you. I'd go, sorry, I'm a conscientious objector to football. Next line, yeah. If I get home,
there's a song.
Gotta got that off my back publicly. If I get home, live to tell the tale. I'll run for all presidencies. If I get elected, I will stop the cavalry. Flawed plan, I'd say there.
I mean, an impossible plan because you cannot.
You can't run presidency
of every country.
Yeah, you could become the UK Prime Minister. That's it, basically. Bit childish that, though, isn't it? It's like you know what I mean? Like when, like at school, you go, "Ooh, I'm gonna go in and I'll become the king of the world, and then I'll tell you what to do."
You know who else wanted to run for all presidencies? Adolf Hitler.
But he came close as well. Yeah. But he came close.
Good bloody go at it. He's certainly the closest anyone has come.
Can you imagine what he was in World War One, wasn't he? Imagine him and Churchill were both in World War One. Good film that, I reckon. Churchill versus Hitler in World War One. You know, take some artistic license. Like Churchill could have killed him, but the end of Point Break where he just Hitler's running away on no man's land, and Churchill just goes and he fires up in the air and goes, "Dah!"
And the thing about doing that as a film, you've already got the sequel greenlit as well. You've got Hitler versus Churchill 2 Electric Boogaloo. So it's already done. Millions at the box office.
Hitler versus Churchill 3, the great football game of Christmas Day. Do you reckon in that game, do you reckon Churchill was what Churchill was centre back and Hitler would be Hitler would be centre back, wouldn't he? Churchill would be
no, Hitler would be on the right wing, surely.
Wait, what if they were both the managers of each team?
Hitler was the arty type, wasn't he? So he'll have been putting the team on his canvas, putting the formation on his canvas with paints, wasn't he?
If it was a war of tactician for the football match, I reckon Hitler would have won about 8-0 and they would have gone, Winston, I thought you were tactician at this with football. I haven't got any Americans to sub in. But yeah, it's just a bit childish that, and I'll run for all the presidencies and I'll stop all the war. Nice. Unfortunately, the world isn't a place for idealists traditionally. But last line on this song before he just repeats himself. Well, he's already said what one line of the song with the fictitious Mary Bradley, but he says he adds a second line addendum to this. Says Mary Bradley waits at home. She has been waiting 2 years long. Probably been having it off with someone else, to be honest, hasn't she?
Oh, without a doubt, yeah.
75%, if not narratively coherent, all over the place, serious anti-war song, and then 25% dubba dubba dum dum dubba dubba dum dum. Did he not? I just can't get my head around the fact that this is very much the song equivalent of playing football in no man's land on Christmas Day during a war, because he's trying to make a serious point on the world, and then he's thought, but then in the middle, I'm just going to go dubba dubba dum dum. Or is he saying, is dubba dubba dum dum supposed to be him saying war's dumb? Because that's even more stupid, really, isn't it? If you're trying to make a serious point to just go, yeah, but war's dumb. I'm going to run for presidencies of the world. I'm going to be king of the universe, and then I'll stop all the wars.
I think it's a Liverpool placeholder.
I can't believe I haven't thought of this. Because this was more World War II. But let's not discredit the fact that there could have been a camp German in the football game. Oh.
The Lewie wearing shorts.
Hans, we're playing a game of football. Like, oh, we put our big heavy guns down and grab some balls, shall we? I hope it's not a no man's land. Oh,
Bagsy being on the right wing. Stop making jokes. Stop making your camp jokes.
I hope I get to slide into some tackle. Oh, it's becoming tenuous now.
We love having you here for the first few months for the comedy value. It's soon wore thin. If you've enjoyed the show, then please like, rate, review, and follow to help push us up the charts. Get in touch with us at any of the links in the episode description, or email liquorandlyrics@gmail.com.
Yeah, that's all I've got to say on this one, really.
Oh, what more needs to be said? I think. I mean, what if I had to end this show by saying what have we learned tonight? Then that'd be another podcast in itself. It'd be another full episode listing all the things we've learned.
Yeah, and I imagine this will be the first time we get a lot of complaints from people about the whole football match thing. I imagine. Do you think or not?
I mean, if that's the hill they're choosing to die on,
not a hill that many.
They were choosing to die on the hill.
They weren't.
That's the
They just
problem.
play fucking football on it. If they were dying on it, I'd be happy.
Let's say goodbye to everybody and let's wish them a Merry Christmas, even though we did it last week, because people lose sight of things in all these football matches and anti-war songs, you know.
Yeah, people forget the sentiment of Christmas, which is "Lasst uns ein Fußballspiel spielen," which is what they would have shouted across no man's land.
Jesus, Dan's been radicalised. We best go, haven't we? Right. Goodbye, everyone.